Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime channel. In the world of One Piece, we know that Luffy is one of the pirates and characters who has a very worthy purpose in life, fighting for his friends and the freedom of those around him. Unlike other pirates who have great ambition to obtain power or to just fight, Luffy is looking to obtain just one title that will make him recognized worldwide for his deeds and provide him with an epic adventure with companions he would consider family. However, this leads us to a very interesting question about Luffy and his kind personality. What would happen if Luffy became an evil character, what his actions could be, and what consequences he would bring to the work of One Piece? In today's video, we will talk about what would happen within the work of One Piece if Luffy became an evil character, what he could do, and what consequences this could generate in this world of pirates. Before we dive into the video, don't forget to smash that like button, give us a thumbs up to unlock your devil fruit powers, and hit that subscribe button to awaken. Now, let's jump into the video. Guys, as we know, the relationship between Monkey D. Luffy and the Straw Hats is a central and fundamental piece in the epic narrative of One Piece, something that makes this story increasingly captivating and interesting. Luffy's crew is made up of diverse members, each bringing unique skills, distinct personalities, and individual dreams to the table, making this crew very charismatic and powerful. The exceptional unity and loyalty that permeates this group achieve great synchrony and the ability to become even stronger together as a true team. The Straw Hats accumulated notoriety and bounty, totaling 8,816,000,001,000 Bailey, attest not only to their own achievements, but also to the influence and impact that Luffy's charismatic leadership has had on them. Each member rose to prominence thanks to their association with Luffy and their essential contribution to all of the group's achievements. This reputation strengthened the bonds between them, creating a connection that goes beyond the conventional to the point where they feel inseparable. Luffy, in turn, demonstrates sincere appreciation and constant gratitude for his friends' unwavering support. Unlike many pirate captains, Luffy does not exercise oppressive authority over his crew. On the contrary, he treats them as equals, allowing there to be no intrigue or discussion within the group regarding who would be Luffy's favorite member. His easygoing nature, combined with his ability to inspire and motivate, makes him the catalyst for joy and positivity aboard Thousand Sunny. He is the life of every party, able to smile even in the darkest of times, which contributes significantly to the crew's resilient spirit. Luffy's absolute trust in his companion's abilities is a cornerstone of the crew's success. This was exemplified in crucial moments, such as during the battle against Rob Lucci, when Luffy chose to rely on his friend's strength to save themselves. Recruiting crew members reflects Luffy's unconventional approach. It does not discriminate based on gender, race, or age, and recruits both for specific skills and personal affinity. The diversity of skills in the crew, from navigation to cooking and medicine, highlights Luffy's strategic vision in forming a team capable of facing the challenges that the new world presents. Luffy's dream of becoming the Pirate King is shared openly with his crew, something in which everyone shares the same desire to make Luffy's dream come true, and consequently, Luffy also wants to make his friend's dream come true. Despite putting his companions in dangerous situations, Luffy does so not out of disrespect for their lives, but out of confidence in their ability and the certainty that together they will overcome any obstacle. Luffy's dedication to protecting his friends is evident on numerous occasions, from defeating Arlong to free Nami, to breaking into Eni's lobby to rescue Nico Robin. The temporary loss of his companions on the Sabaody archipelago was one of the most difficult moments for Luffy, demonstrating how deep his commitment to the crew's safety is. Luffy's relationship with the Straw Hats transcends the boundaries of ordinary piracy, being a brotherhood built on trust, mutual respect, and the shared pursuit of individual dreams. The Straw Hat, a gift from Shanks in Luffy's childhood, symbolizes not only their promise to reunite, but also Luffy's absolute trust in his friends. This exceptional bond between captain and crew is one of the most moving and captivating elements of One Piece, adding depth and emotion to the epic saga of Luffy and his companions in their quest for One Piece and the title of Pirate King. The Straw Hats aren't just a crew for Monkey D. Luffy, they represent a chosen family, a brotherhood that goes beyond blood ties. This diverse crew is not only instrumental to the success of the Grand Route, but is the source of emotional strength and determination for Luffy on his journey towards the title of Pirate King. The importance of the Straw Hats in Luffy's life transcends the mere search for One Piece. Luffy's journey is marked by monumental challenges, unimaginable dangers, and personal sacrifices. Every step of the way, his companions are there to support him, to face adversity together, and to share the joys and sorrows. The relationship between Luffy and his crew is the pillar that keeps this crew crew still active, providing not only a great friendship between them, but also the necessary motivation to overcome difficulties. Luffy's dream of becoming the Pirate King is intrinsically linked to the Straw Hats. Each member of the crew shares this collective dream, and it is this shared ambition that keeps them together in their darkest times. The loss of his brother, Ace, was one of the most devastating blows to Luffy, but his friend's dedication to becoming stronger in response to Luffy's message of waiting 2 years is a testament to how essential the crew is to Luffy's own purpose. The trust Luffy places in the Straw Hats is a reflection of the deep connection they share. This confidence is not just in the heat of battles, but also in important decisions and life choices, whether facing powerful enemies, exploring unknown lands, or simply enjoying relaxing moments in the Thousand Sunny. Luffy trusts his friends as extensions of himself. The straw hat Luffy wears is more than just an accessory. It is a tangible symbol of your trust and respect for the crew. Received from Shanks, a mentor and father figure in his youth, the hat became a priceless treasure to Luffy. Every time he loses it or sees it damaged, Luffy's visceral reaction is a visual representation of how much he values his companions and the essential role they play in his life. The Straw Hats aren't just allies in pirate adventures. They are friends who share the ups and downs, victories and defeats. Luffy's journey to become the Pirate King is ultimately a journey shared with these friends, and the strength of that relationship is one of the most captivating and moving elements of One Piece. By facing unimaginable challenges, overcoming insurmountable obstacles, and creating unforgettable memories, the Straw Hats are not just supporting characters in Luffy's story, they are the beating heart of his incredible journey. The incessant search for power is a constant in the journey of Monkey D. Luffy and the Straw Hats. In their quest to become the Pirate King, each member of the crew seeks to hone their skills, overcome personal limits, and face increasingly formidable challenges. This collective ambition not only reflects the competitive and dangerous nature of the New World, but also highlights the Straw Hats' relentless determination to face any adversity. Luffy, as captain, always seeks to overcome his own limits and challenge increasingly powerful opponents. Whether through intensive training of your gear or exploring the possibilities of hockey, Luffy is constantly striving to reach new heights of power to ensure his crew is prepared for the challenges that await them. This quest for power is not limited to Luffy, but extends to every member of the crew. Roronoa Zoro seeks to become the greatest swordsman in the world. Sanji is always improving his martial skills, and Nico Robin seeks to unravel the mysteries of the world as he strengthens his knowledge. This collective mentality of continuous growth, a strong, unshakable determination, no matter the situation, and evolution is a defining characteristic of the Straw Hats. Now, let's consider an intriguing hypothesis. What if, for some reason, Luffy was an evil pirate in unbridled pursuit of power? Luffy's transformation into an antagonistic character could result in a completely different dynamic for the Straw Hats. The pillar that defines the crew could crumble, and the members' unwavering loyalty would be put to the test. The entire crew would be altered and become something completely unrecognizable. If Luffy turned to the dark side, the crew could be forced to confront the difficult choice between following their captain or resisting his harmful actions. Each member's role in the quest for power would have a more sinister connotation, with individual ambitions being fueled by selfish and cruel motivations. The once solid bonds of friendship and loyalty could be severed, and the quest for power could become a dangerous game of betrayal and intrigue. The crew could find itself divided, with some members seeking to redeem their former captain, while others remain true to their dark new ambitions. Luffy's transformation into an evil pirate would have profound implications for the relationship with the Straw Hats, fundamentally altering the dynamics and relationship of this crew that has always been united by bonds of friendship, respect, and trust. The impact of this change in Luffy's personality would extend to his relationships with his comrades, leading to a disconnection and potentially a rupture of the unity that once characterized the Straw Hats. The unwavering loyalty that the crew members have always had towards Luffy could be shaken, as the captain's new dark side could inspire distrust and fear. The relaxed and friendly atmosphere of the Thousand Sunny could be replaced by a tension-filled atmosphere where uncertainty about Luffy's true purposes would constantly hover. Luffy's relationship with his companions, once built on a foundation of mutual trust, could become marked by growing distrust. The Straw Hats could question not only Luffy's intentions, but also his ability to lead in a fair and compassionate manner. The crew, who once shared laughter and dreams, could now find themselves divided by irreconcilable differences. The figure of Luffy, who has always been represented by his ability to convey joy to the people around him, could become a threatening shadow, with crew members hesitating to express their true feelings and opinions for fear of possible reprisals from their captain. Furthermore, individual relationships within the crew would be affected, as trust between members would gradually disappear. Long-standing friendship could be replaced by an atmosphere of competition and suspicion, undermining the bonds that once held the Straw Hats together. The Thousand Sunny itself, a symbol of the Straw Hats' epic journey, could become a scene of tension and conflict as the crew members face the difficult decision of whether to remain alongside a corrupted Luffy or seek a new direction for themselves. Make your own dreams come true. This dramatic shift in the crew's dynamics would serve not only as a turning point in the story, but also as an in-depth exploration of the complexities of human relationships and the fragility of the bonds that sustain a team. What was once a group united by a common goal could now find itself on the brink of collapse, challenging the Straw Hats' resistance and resilience in the face of the darkness that has taken hold of their captain. The drastic change in Luffy's personality as an evil pirate could culminate in a surprising plot twist, leading him to abandon the Straw Hats to forge a new crew made up of equally malevolent and powerful individuals. Such a decision would represent not only a break with their long-standing ties, but also the creation of a new alliance founded on dark and ambitious principles. Luffy, now driven by selfish ambition and an unbridled quest for power, could decide that his former crew represents a burden, limiting his potential to achieve darker goals. Instead of continuing the journey with the Straw Hats, he could undertake the formation of a crew made up of pirates whose intentions align with his new corrupted mindset. This new crew, conceived in darkness, could attract individuals who share the vision of a world ruled by tyranny and oppression. Luffy's leadership, once a beacon of hope and justice, could now guide those who seek chaos and domination over the seas. Luffy's decision to abandon the Straw Hats would be felt deeply by the remaining members of the crew, who would have to face the pain of betrayal and the loss of a captain who once embodied noble values. While Luffy would embark on his journey with a new crew of malevolent pirates, the Straw Hats could find themselves faced with the challenge of redefining themselves and reaffirming their purpose without the influence of their former leader. This experience of abandonment could forge renewed resilience in the remaining members, leading them to seek a new understanding of their own dreams and goals. The emergence of a new crew led by a malevolent Luffy would add complexity to One Piece's narrative, exploring themes of betrayal, redemption, and the influence of leadership in forming alliances. The Straw Hat Saga would then turn into a journey not only to achieve their own dreams, but also to overcome the shadows left by a former captain who strayed from the path of justice. If, hypothetically, Monkey D. Luffy turned to the dark side and became an evil pirate, the question of possession of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, known as the fruit of the deity Nika, the god of liberation, would assume an intriguing and complex in this scenario. The Gomu Gomu no Mi, a paramecia-type devil fruit, granted Luffy the ability to stretch and mold his body like rubber, providing him with a unique range of abilities. The nature of the Gomu Gomu no Mi as the fruit of the deity Nika, the god of liberation, suggests that it is intrinsically linked to the idea of freedom and beneficial change in the world of One Piece. In the hypothetical scenario of Luffy becoming an evil pirate, this symbolic connection would be deeply questioned. The Gomu Gomu no Mi, by nature, is a fruit that grants its user extraordinary abilities, allowing Luffy to overcome countless challenges. However, if Luffy were to adopt a dark path, the validity of his right to possess a fruit associated with freedom and salvation could be called into question. One Piece's narrative often explores the duality of power, questioning not only the physical capabilities of its characters, but also the morality and ethics that accompany these extraordinary gifts. In this context, the possession of the Gomu Gomu no Mi by a transformed Luffy could be seen as a tragic irony, a power that was supposed to represent freedom, now used to impose tyranny. The fruit of the deity. Nika carries a significant symbolic load. However, in the hands of an evil Luffy, this deity of liberation could become an instrument of oppression. The god who represents freedom would become a fallen god, losing his original purity. The Nika deity fruit, in the hands of an evil Luffy, would be a fascinating element, offering intriguing possibilities for the story and questioning the nuances of the relationship between power, morality, and freedom. The hypothesis of Luffy becoming an evil pirate raises fascinating questions about his connection to the Gomu Gomu no Mi, known as the fruit of the deity Nika, the god of liberation. In a surprising twist of history, it is possible that the deity Nika herself, representative of the sun and freedom, rejected Luffy, denying him full access to his ultimate power. The sun deity Nika, as an entity symbolically linked to physical and mental freedom, could discern Luffy's dark intentions. If this devil fruit is truly guided by divine principles, its energy could be sensitive to the bearer's morality and intentions. Thus, faced with the cruel and oppressive actions of a malevolent Luffy, Nika could refuse to offer her maximum power, preventing Luffy from being able to use his awakened power. This refusal could manifest itself as a limitation in the Gomu Gomu no Mi's abilities, or even as an attempt at resistance on the part of the fruit itself. The power of the deity, Nika, which was supposed to represent liberation and authenticity, could resist being used for nefarious purposes, as if the fruit itself rejected the idea of being a tool for tyranny. This potential revolt of the Gomu Gomu no Mi could become a pivotal point in the narrative, marking not only Luffy's physical struggle, but also his internal conflict. He could be forced to confront not only his enemies, but also the consequences of his actions on the power he has always trusted. Furthermore, the deity Nika's refusal to fully cooperate with Luffy could open space for a redemption narrative, should Luffy seek to correct his mistakes and restore the purity of the Gomu Gomu no Mi. This would demonstrate the great will of the being that inhabits the devil fruit possesses, which would mean that Luffy would have to regain the trust of the fruit and, by extension, the god it represents. Another intriguing question is if Luffy, hypothetically, gave into the dark side and became an evil pirate. The question of dignity to use Haoshoku Haki, also known as the Conqueror's Haki, would assume crucial importance in his journey. Haoshoku Haki is a rare and exceptional manifestation of Haki that allows the user to subjugate the will of others, standing out as a sign of unquestionable power and leadership. However, its powers are deeply tied to the user's moral nature and inner strength, allowing few characters to awaken and use the full potential of this technique. Haoshoku Haki is often associated with remarkable and fearless individuals who possess exceptional willpower, in addition to being destined for great things because of this great power in their hands. This technique is an expression of the determined personality of natural leaders and individuals of great moral resilience that exist in the One Piece universe, making this technique carried by only a few users. In the context of Luffy, who, by his nature, embodies freedom, compassion, and justice, possession of Haoshoku Haki symbolizes not only power, but also the moral responsibility that comes with that power. If Luffy turned to the dark side and adopted malevolent actions, the dignity of using Haoshoku Haki would be questioned. There is therefore a great doubt as to whether Luffy would still possess this power if he deviated from his ambitions and morality. Haoshoku Haki is deeply intertwined with the user's moral integrity, and using it for selfish or cruel goals could result in a disconnect between Luffy and this extraordinary gift. It is possible that, in this scenario, Haoshoku Haki would become unattainable for Luffy, refusing to fully manifest itself in a heart stained by malice and sudden change of ideals. Haki, as an expression of inner strength, could reject a will that is not aligned with the fundamental principles of Haoshoku, thus negating Luffy's ability to utilize this technique. This rejection could translate into an inability for Luffy to fully utilize Haoshoku Haki, or even a gradual loss of this ability, symbolically representing the breaking of the bonds between Luffy and the force that was once intrinsically connected to him. Luffy's journey, unfolding towards redemption or facing the consequences of his choices, could influence the relationship between him and Haoshoku Haki. The search for dignity to use this extraordinary ability could become a central element in Luffy's quest to restore the purity and integrity that once characterized him. This dramatic turn in the narrative would add emotional depth to One Piece's story, exploring the complexities of morality, responsibility, and the true meaning of power. Despite the possibility of Luffy straying onto a dark path, the issue of using Haoshoku Haki still remains intriguing and complex. Haoshoku Haki, as an expression of willpower, is famously impartial towards the user's morality. Its activation is more linked to ambition, determination, and inner strength than to the benevolent or malevolent nature of the individual's goals. Apparently, morality would be another way to increase or decrease the chances of obtaining this power. An illustrative example of this idea is Don Quixote do Flamingo, whose strong determination to destroy the world resulted in the awakening of Haoshoku Haki. Do Flamingo, an antagonist in the story, utilized this impressive power on his own terms, demonstrating that Haoshoku Haki is accessible even to those whose ambitions are dark and destructive. Therefore, following this logic, it is possible to argue that even in a hypothetical version where Luffy becomes an evil pirate, his ambition and determination could still be powerful enough to awaken Haoshoku Haki. The technique does not make judgments about the morality of goals, but rather about the intensity and resilience of the user's will, based completely on the person's determination. In this scenario, Luffy's quest for power, even if guided by questionable intentions, could lead to the manifestation of Haoshoku Haki, your inner strength, your determination to achieve your goals would still be the determining factors in unleashing this exceptional power. However, it is important to point out that Luffy's possession of Haoshoku Haki, even in a dark light, could acquire a different connotation. The use of this power, which at other times represented benevolent leadership and the ability to inspire, could now be used in an authoritarian and oppressive way. This duality in the application of Haoshoku Haki could add intriguing layers to the narrative, exploring not only the supernatural aspect of the power, but also the moral implications of how it is utilized. With the hypothesis of Luffy becoming an evil pirate, his approach towards enemies after defeating them could undergo a significant transformation. By adopting a dark path, Luffy's actions could reflect a more ruthless and authoritarian attitude towards his adversaries. Once known for his compassionate nature and propensity to offer second chances, a malevolent Luffy could distance himself from these traits. Instead of seeking reconciliation or redemption from his opponents, he could opt for more severe and cruel measures, demonstrating a desire for subjugation and control. One possibility would be the imposition of oppressive or humiliating conditions on those who were defeated. Luffy, now driven by selfish and malevolent ambitions, could exploit his newfound power to subjugate his enemies, forcing them to serve his own dark goals. Furthermore, he could engage in acts of extreme revenge, inflicting suffering and pain on his defeated adversaries as a way of consolidating his dominance. This approach would represent a marked turn from the justice and compassion that Luffy has historically demonstrated. The fate of Luffy's enemies, now plunged into darkness, could range from forced servitude to more extreme forms of punishment. The malevolent Luffy could adopt a mindset of domination, seeking not only victory over his opponents, but also the complete nullification of his resistance and identity. With the dark hypothesis of Luffy becoming an evil pirate, his attitude towards opponents could reach disturbing extremes, completely distancing himself from the compassionate and fair nature he currently represents. Such a drastic turnaround in Luffy's personality could lead him to take extreme measures, including taking lives without any hesitation or even without any resentment. Instead of seeking non-lethal solutions or offering the chance at redemption, a malevolent Luffy could take a ruthless approach, eliminating his enemies efficiently and brutally. This radical change in Luffy's morality would represent not only a transformation in strategic approach, but also a complete break with the fundamental principles he once stood for. The decision to take lives without mercy would demonstrate cruel brutality and indifference, marking a personality that Luffy currently abhors and cruel, turning this charismatic character into something unrecognizable. This twisted version of Luffy would not only pose a threat to his enemies, but also to the moral integrity that has always been a fundamental pillar of his journey. The emotional impact of this character change would be immense, not only for readers, but also for the members of the Straw Hats, who would witness their captain's transformation into something they never imagined. This clash between the heroic figure that Luffy once was and the new being devoid of compassion would be a dramatic turning point in the story, causing many characters to distrust Luffy's actions and abandon him. Furthermore, this dark narrative could explore the consequences and responsibility associated with possessing power. Luffy, once seen as a defender of justice, would become a figure he himself would repudiate, leading to an internal search for redemption or a path of self-affirmation through darkness. This twist in Luffy's personality would certainly challenge fans' expectations and open up space for exploring complex themes related to morality, power, and authenticity. Luffy's transformation into an evil pirate would have a seismic impact on the world of One Piece, completely redefining the narrative and influencing events in unpredictable ways. This single change in Luffy's behavior would extend far beyond the personal sphere, affecting relationships, alliances, and the course of history itself, making the story of One Piece something completely different and unpredictable. Key relationships would be shaken and distorted. The friendships built throughout the narrative arcs would be tested, as Luffy, now a sinister figure, would leave behind bonds that were once unbreakable. Trust between the characters would be completely lost, creating tensions and conflicts between former allies and enemies, forcing Luffy to have to find other allies who agree with his attitudes. Factions once united against common enemies could now find themselves on opposing sides, redefining power dynamics and triggering new conflicts in an already unstable world. Crucial events in One Piece's history would be changed in fundamental ways. The epic battles that shaped shaped the course of the Grand Sea Route could have drastically different outcomes, with the evil Luffy adopting more brutal and bloodthirsty strategies. Iconic figures from the world of One Piece, such as the Yonko, Navy Admirals, Sekai Seifu, and even the Revolutionary Army, would be impacted by this change in Luffy's trajectory. Alliances would be re-evaluated, enmities reformulated, and the balance of power between factions would be reconfigured, leading to a new scenario where the pillar of power that constitute this universe would be completely altered. Furthermore, the sense of morality and justice that permeates One Piece would be challenged and distorted, then reigning totally distorted ideals that could turn the world into total chaos. The Straw Hat's reputation, once built on the pursuit of justice and freedom, would be tarnished, influencing the public perception of other pirates and organizations. The world would face a new order, where the line between right and wrong would become dark and nebulous. This hypothetical transformation of Luffy would have lasting and global ramifications, transforming the One Piece universe into an even more complex and unpredictable place. The fate of the characters and the unfolding of events would depend on the survivors' ability to adapt to this radical change and overcome the challenges that would arise in this new dark scenario. Luffy's rise as an evil pirate, possessing a power that can unleash destruction on a worldwide scale, would transform him into a threat of unprecedented magnitude. His reputation as a fearsome pirate would surpass previous limits, making him more dangerous than even Blackbeard, known for his ambitions to master the powers of devil fruits. The fear generated by the prospect of a malevolent Luffy would be felt across all corners of the seas, echoing in the minds of rulers, pirates, and even among the revolutionaries. His destructive skill, combined with the corrupted mindset that now drives him, would make him a force to be reckoned with and feared throughout the world, making him even more threatening. The revolutionaries, who have historically challenged established powers in pursuit of freedom, would now face an even more significant internal threat, turning Luffy himself into an enemy to be defeated. Luffy, possessing strength capable of rivaling the very structure of the world, would become a formidable obstacle to revolutionary ideals. Their influence and power would threaten the stability that the revolutionaries seek to overthrow. Piracy, already marked by fearsome and powerful figures, would now have Luffy as a potential source of global destruction. A great threat that is even capable of surpassing Teach's. His ability to challenge existing structures, combined with a penchant for evil, would put him on a collision course with world powers, creating a scenario of uncertainty and fear. Furthermore, the quest to dominate the seas and achieve his own malevolent goals could lead Luffy into direct confrontations with other major players in the pirate scene, such as the Yonko. His rise as a transcendent threat would mean that even the most powerful figures would have to consider the implications of opposing someone with the potential to redefine the balance of power. The world of One Piece, already dynamic and full of complex characters, would be subjected to an extraordinary and unsettling twist. Monkey D. Luffy's name would become synonymous with destruction and chaos, leaving an indelible mark on history and transforming the protagonist who once sought freedom into a force that threatens the very existence of the world he once navigated. The outcome of One Piece, if Luffy took a dark path and became an evil pirate, would be a deeply dark and disturbing conclusion. With Luffy in charge of the world, chaos would reign supreme, and hope would be replaced by a rule of tyranny and destruction. Luffy's rise as a kind of chaos deity on Earth would be a bleak epilogue, where the dreams of freedom and justice that once permeated history would turn into nightmares. Those who dared to resist Luffy's reign would now be lifeless, and any attempt at opposition would be doomed to failure given the magnitude of his evil power. Places once vibrant and full of life would be transformed into desolate landscapes, marked by the indelible mark of Luffy's tyrannical control. The cities and islands that had witnessed epic adventures would now be mere shadows of their former splendor, shrouded in the darkness imposed by the new regime. Hope for a better world would be replaced by a reign of fear, where freedom would become a distant memory. Luffy, now unstoppable and unchallengeable, would rule as an unstoppable force, consuming everything in his path. What was once a story of overcoming, friendship, and perseverance would turn into a dark tale of fall and despair. The protagonist who once sailed the seas in search of a treasure that was not material, but rather freedom, would now have conquered the world, but at a terrible price. Thus, the ending of One Piece would become a narrative that would echo in readers' minds as a grim warning about the consequences of corruption and the seduction of unbridled power. The world, once full of promise and possibility, would now be shaped by the sinister presence of Luffy, whose power would transform the pirate tale into an endless nightmare. That's a wrap for today's content. We hope you enjoyed it and want to share your thoughts on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and catch you in the next video. Take care and stay awesome.